those LSU Tigers, baby. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I told y'all 1998 says Pooh Bear. Wow. Guys, I got to tell you, this is exactly why you do not look ahead of an opponent ever. Ever. LSU's defense started off sluggish, a lot of broken coverages, a lot of bad coaching by Brian Harsin, going for it multiple times on fourth down. LSU stands tall. They stand firm. You get the ball back. Look, and I'm going to tell you this. We got a lot to work on. We got a lot to talk about, especially offensively. However, guys, sometimes in the SEC, you just need to come out with a win on the road. Pooh Bear's going to be keeping us in lockstep with what's going on with Georgia. I know that they have the ball going down. But look, sometimes you just need to win games. It wasn't pretty. It didn't look good. LSU struggled so bad on first down. The official stat sheet said LSU, guys, had 9 dropped passes in this entire game. Now, I'm going to pull this up. Look, Jane goes 8 of 20 for 80 yards. Guys, LSU offensively went 10 of 26 through the air for 85 yards, and you scored 21 points to win. As Georgia took the lead against Missouri. But still, regardless, 4 minutes and 3 seconds left to go go in the game. This is why you don't. Pooh Bear, can we zoom in just a smidgen? All right, and then go down just a bit. Guys, 8 of 20 from Jaden Daniels. I'm looking at the official LSU and box score for the game, the guy that called the game. Jaden had 6 drop passes. Nussmeier had 2. So, relatively, you go 16 for 20, and you go 4 of 6. But the truth is, you can't have this offensively. You cannot have that offensively. Guys, you can't have that next week against Tennessee or you're going to lose. Okay, so we'll get through a lot of this. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. There's over 500 of you in here live on XM, on the normal stream. Do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Don't be a square. Hit the like and share. Brandy Blake says UGA totally overlooked Mizzou. Well, did LSU totally overlook Auburn? All week we talked about, let's look forward to Tennessee. Let's look forward to Tennessee. Guys, you can't afford, and girls, you cannot afford to do that in this league. Now, it's going to be interesting to find out what happens to Brian Harsin here. Does he make it out? But relatively, Jaden's got to do better with hitting receivers down the field. Guys, it's just the truth. You know, people say I apologize for him. No. What the truth is, he's got to hit dudes. But I will say this. I do understand why Jaden maybe doesn't trust his wide receivers when there's drops all over the place. Guys, 9 drop passes. If you do that next week, we are going to get our brains kicked in. Now, I want to start off this. I made some phone calls at halftime. I was told from the Seven Banks camp that he was released. I got that confirmed as well. Look, Seven Banks, talk about tone deaf, by the way. They threw a flag on Seven Banks when he got knocked out in the game. First off, shame on the referees for doing that. They should have picked up the fucking flag. Okay. Secondly, I'm glad to know that he is okay. He has been released from the hospital. I do not know if he's back with the team yet or not, but I'm glad that Seven Banks is okay. Danny Girl says 9 drop passes, but how many of those were Mason Taylor? He had 3. So, I mean, you still had 6. You had multiple ones by Malik Neighbors. You had 2 by Brian Thomas. You had 1 by Kayshawn. I can continue to go on. But the drops doesn't necessarily matter if it's the wide receivers or the tight ends. You had 1 from John Emery. Remember the John Emery miss on 3rd down? The little just pop pass that they had to John Emery? Guys, that's 6 that I just named, and I could name more. That's just the official stats that LSU has. 9 total drops, 3 from Mason Taylor, 2 from Malik Neighbors, 1 from Kayshawn, 1 from Emery. So, I mean, regardless of who's dropping the passes, guys, you can't have that and win in this league. Now, let's do this. Pooh Bear, let's scroll down to the rushing yards. This is what won you the football game. 49 rushes, 185 rushing yards. That right there, that stat is what won you the game. LSU goes down 17, guys. 17-0. 9 minutes and 58 seconds left to go in the second quarter. You score 2 touchdowns, 1 by Jay Ward on the B.J. Ojolari sack, which was massive. Pooh Bear, no pause, massive sack. Jay Ward scoop and score. They did not give up another point. Now, what Brian Harsin should have done and where LSU would have lost this game, guys, if they kick those field goals, we lose. But sometimes it's better to be lucky than good and to get out of there with a win. Guys, you're 4-1. And Pooh Bear, I said this 4 weeks ago, as Florida State lost today. 4 weeks ago, tomorrow will be 4 weeks to the day. I said LSU will rattle off their next 4, and they did that. Now, it was by the skin of our chinny chin chin, or the hair on our chinny chin chin, that LSU was able to do that. But nevertheless, this is what won you the football game. This. Pooh Bear, can we scroll down just a quick second? I want to look at the receptions. Pooh, can we scroll down if you can hear me? Can we scroll down to these receiving yards? Guys, look, your biggest reception of the night is the wheel route. That's a busted coverage by John Emery and a 39-yard reception. This cannot happen. Here's another thing that can't happen. Kayshawn Boutte, 2 targets. Can't happen. Jack Besh, 1 target. Can't happen. You know what else I see? Brian Thomas Jr., although he had a drop, look at this. No catches for Brian Thomas Jr. That can't happen in this league. Pooh, the next time we'll go back to it, we'll go to the box score, but it'll be a minute. You cannot have that in this league and win football games. You can't have it. You cannot have it. All right, I am getting a notification sent to me via text. Seven Banks has returned with the team. Okay, that's great. Glad to see Seven Banks is back, guys. You don't ever want to see that. That guy has that guy's been through a lot. Chili says, fire Mike Denbrock. He can't scheme. F that stuff. Well, Chili, on the opposite side of that, on the opposite side of this Denbrock stuff right here, guys, you can't have drop passes. You can't have drop passes if you're not getting or scheming somebody open. I agree, some of the play calling is bad. But Brian Thomas on a hitch route on 3rd and 7, dropping a pass from Garrett Nussmeier for a first down is not Mike Denbrock's fault. It's not Mike Denbrock's fault. There are some things that Jaden has to do better. I vividly remember the 3rd down and 6 that he missed Malik Neighbors on. Pass was completely behind him. But then a couple of plays before, or a couple of series before, Malik Neighbors has a pass that hits him right here in the arm. Is the pass behind him? Yes. But, guys, we've seen LSU receivers come down with elite plays like that. Great players make great plays when the game is on the line. You know how I know that? Ask Greg Brooks. Guys, the Greg Brooks interception, holy cow. Holy cow. Now, I'm going to go back to this box score. Let's scroll down. Guys, this game was very even. 19 to 20 first downs, 19 for LSU, 20 for Auburn. LSU goes 5 of 15 on third down. Auburn goes 6 of 15. So what wins you the football game? 2 turnovers. The turnovers are what kill you. 4 turnovers for Auburn, 1 turnover for LSU that came on another massive. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Another massive John Emery fumble. Now, what we're not going to talk about in this game, guys, these penalties, 18 penalties, 94 yards for LSU and 80 for Auburn. This ref crew was absolutely horrendous. The Sage Ryan holding call on 4th down that would have probably at that given moment could have helped LSU seal the football game, and it's a makeup call. Guys, you got to win these sloppy games. You just do. And you were bound for one of them. But I would rather come out with the victory. It's not pretty. But, guys, we'll talk about this all next week. You can't do this against Tennessee. Guys, I don't have a lot of faith in LSU right now to win at 11 a.m. against Tennessee in Death Valley. Do they have the potential to beat them? You're damn right. Look, offensive line, I thought played well enough. I mean, when you have this number right here, 185 rushing yards, okay, on 49 attempts, some of those are, I think 4 of those are sacks considered against Jane Daniels. Guys, you're running the ball for 4 yards per 4 yards. That's going to win you a lot of football games. But what you can, again, I sound like a broken record. What you cannot do is have 9 drops and think you're going to win a football game. This receiving core and all of their glory, guys, Kayshawn's got to catch that pass for a first down. So then we asked the question, why isn't Kayshawn getting involved? Guys, he almost has as many drops as he does receptions this year. Now, they got to target him more. Okay, they do. But look, B.J. Ojolari had a big game. Outside the strip sack fumble, he had another sack to start off the game that led off the series. But Auburn would go down and score. Look, here's a big thing, too, that worries me about this team moving forward. Guys, the blown coverages in the first half got to stop. They got to stop. I know that LSU responded. They rebounded. LSU would come back, and they would win this game. But, Pooh Bear, what was the message all week long? The message I had for LSU fans all week long was, eventually, if you start off slow, it's going to bite you in the ass. Well, guys, you're lucky it didn't bite you in the ass tonight. And I am of the opinion this game being sloppy is not just on Jaden. It's not on the offensive line. It's not just on the wide receivers, defensive line. But when you needed plays, your superstars at this point, Greg Brooks emerging to be one, is showing up. Guys, the Harold Perkins, and look, Coy Moore can go suck on a popsicle now for all I care. Okay, you had the chance to win your team the football game, and it's not on him. He didn't lose the game, but he has 2 turnovers, really and truthfully, that could have helped his team seal it. I agree with that last comment, Pooh. That is something Jaden does. And I don't know, Daniels is always looking to bail out of the pocket. I'm not saying that Daniels isn't looking to throw. What I do agree with this statement tonight, not all of it, is he does look to bail outside the pocket and go east and west. Now, he couldn't go north and south because Charles Turner was getting absolutely destroyed in the first half. So that's not a lot on Jaden. Aaron just put up a super chat. Let's get to Aaron's. Aaron sends $20 via super chat. Thank you, Aaron. He says, we have to find a way to get the ball to our playmakers. Yet, our playmakers have to take advantage when we do get them the ball. My biggest complaint is we have to get more targets or even just the ball to Kayshawn. I can't disagree with you there. But when they have the opportunity, they have to be able to come up with that opportunity and make plays. Guys, at some point, we can blame Mike Denbrock. We can blame Cortez Hankton. We can blame Jaden Daniels. We can blame so many different people. The matter of the fact is you got to catch the football. Not everything's going to be perfect. Jaden Daniels isn't perfect. Nussmeier, God knows where he was throwing that second pass. I texted a buddy of mine and said I was absolutely nervous when he came into the game. Just nervous. He doesn't seem ready. Now, again, he makes what's so crazy is I say that about Nussmeier, and then on 3rd down 7, he throws an absolute rifle. There we go. Hold on. Pooh Bear just gives us an update. UGA finds a way to hold on and win 26-22. Good teams find ways to win, man. And I'll tell you this, Missouri, obviously, we all know, just lost to Auburn a week ago. You're going to have these games. It's not at least to me. Now, I'm going to get obliterated on this comment. On this comment. Sometimes, guys, you just got to find a way to win in this league. And it's not going to be pretty. So, there it is. Tyree, maybe, if I'm saying that right. Tyree, I say Love. How about that? Love on YouTube says, since it's $4.99 via Super Chat, thank you for doing that. He said, he said, I'm not sure. I seen 2 deep shots all game. What's up with that? I don't know. Now, that is a problem. That you can get on to Mike Denbrock about. Now, if you remember, one of those throws that was a deep pass. Let me look. I'm pretty sure it was to Neighbors. Yep. Went to Malik Neighbors and was a pass interference. But this is how you start off that drive. Jaden was 8 of 18. Kane had a 6-yard run. Daniels ran for 2 first downs. Kane had another 8-yard run. Emory with an 8-yard run and a first down. Emory misses a pass. Then he misses a run. Then you take a long shot to Neighbors. You get a PI. Then you have too many penalties. It backs you up, and then you got a punt. So it seems like, I don't know. Let me read this comment, but it seems like to me that this team is Rocky Balboa. They're Rocky Balboa. They wait until the last goddamn minute to get things going. It seems like they got to be down to get ready to go. Can't have that next week, man. Can't have that next week. I'm going to sound like a broken record. Bayou Bingle 84 cents $5 via Super Chat. Thank you for doing that. He says, Blake, do you think that receivers aren't getting open? Play calling isn't creative enough. Well, sometimes they aren't getting open. Play calling isn't creative enough. I think it's some of that too. Or does Jaden Daniels just not see the field very well? Here's my God's honest thoughts and opinions on that. I think it's all 3 of them. I would love to know what is going on in practice so that Jaden Daniels doesn't even look in Kayshawn Boutte's general direction. Right? Like, what is going on in practice that makes Jaden so nervous, and the only persons or people that he wants to throw it to is an occasional Jack Besh, Malik Neighbors, an occasional Brian Thomas, and obviously Mason Taylor. Now, I will say this. Mark McWay, get ready. Now, if you don't know who Mark McWay is, he's the 4-star tight end that's going to have to come in here and have a lot of playing time. Because if you can catch the football, you're going to start for LSU. Here's another truth, too, that we got to be careful with. Guys, Mason Taylor's only a freshman. Like I got comments in my personal DM group of a lot of buddies of mine. Pooh Bear's in there. Okay, we got people in there saying that Mason Taylor's ass. Guys, he's a freshman. Not every freshman looks like Harold Perkins. Which, by the way, Pooh Bear, I'm going to make a statement. Now, the last time I made a statement like this, it came true. Okay, obviously with the 4-0 that LSU would go on. I don't know how you can make the – I don't know how you can there's a lot of football left. Let me not say that. But if Harold Perkins continues to do what he's doing, he's going to be an all-SEC performer, not just freshman. Max Kalina on YouTube says, great win, but Jane Daniels is terrible. I don't agree with that. And to be honest, Nuss doesn't look any better. Can't disagree on that. QBs have to start throwing with anticipation. I don't know how we beat Tennessee. Well, here's the truth. A lot of you in here, give me a show of thumbs. Hit the thumbs up button. How confident were you that LSU was going to just absolutely dog walk Auburn today? So let's not sit here and say that there's no way whatsoever that LSU couldn't or shouldn't have won the LSU should have beaten the dog manure out of Auburn today, but so should Georgia. Georgia should have beaten the dog shit out of Missouri. Sometimes you got to find a way. Maybe that's just me. Dane Bergeron sends $5 via Super Chat. He says, this team is hard to watch. However, I will take an ugly win over a pretty loss anytime. I agree with that. Guys, it's not pretty. It is not pretty at all. Like, so for an example, let me look through this drive. All right. I have one drive that's completely in mine. Hold on. Bear with me. All right, here it is. All right. So you have offense. Jaden Daniels, 6-yard run. Jaden Daniels, 12-yard run. Jaden Daniels, draw. Williams, first down on 3rd and 4. Pass interference on Auburn on Malik Neighbors. John Emery, touchdown. That's a good drive. Here's how they respond. Okay, 2 runs. You get the 3rd and 5. Neighbors has a pit pass interference against him. Daniels comes out. Nussmeier comes in. You have a penalty. Then you have a Kayshawn drop. Then you have another penalty. Then you have Nussmeier that missed a wide open pass by literally 15 yards. You can't have that and win football games. Here's another one. Here's a defensive one. Okay. Defense. Robbie Ashford, 15-yard run, first down. Kai Wingo, tackle for loss. Pass interference on the offense. Then here's a massive thing. 3rd and 25. You remember the 3rd and 25 to Jake from State Farm's brother? Caught the pass. Mekhi Garner ran up and tried to stop Ashford, and it was a blown coverage. 3rd and 25, blown coverage, first down. Okay, then Sage Ryan has a massive pass breakup on 2nd down or on 3rd down. You get off the field. They punt you the football. There are some sloppy things in a lot of this. The problem is you found a way. Not even a problem. The thing is, you found a way to win the game. And some of me thinks that Ed Orgeron would have lost it. We saw the season ago against Auburn. Brian Kelly and staff found a way to win. It's just the truth. C. King says, well, Kelly hyped up Mason Taylor. Well, hype train better get better. Daniel Williams from the Golden Boot Pod says Jeray Jenkins did not play tonight. Why? He did play tonight. They just didn't even come close to throwing in the ball. Kid is a baller, wide receiver, are regressing in my opinion. Maybe they should put some baby oil on. But and thank you, Daniel, for the $9.99. But there are some things that Daniel's right here. If Jeray Jenkins is going to be your best wide receiver, you got to, he's going to catch the football. You got to find ways to get it to him. You got to find ways to get it to him. But I will tell you this. It's very aggravating watching this stat line. Pooh Bear, can we go back? Or no, you don't need to. It's very aggravating watching the stat line, 10 of 26, 3.3 yards per pass. That's aggravating. Now, I'll even give you half, or if you just give me half of the drops, say you give me 5 of the 9, okay? 5 of the 9, you go 15 of 26, okay? 15 divided by 26. You're 58% completion percentage. I will take that over. Guys, LSU passing game was at 38% tonight. Now, think if you caught all 9 of those drop passes and you're 19 of 26, which 19 of 26, and I'm just doing basic math here, guys, you're 73% catching the ball. 73% from both of your passers. Guys, it's a massive difference. It's a massive difference. Now, Jaden will and somewhat could be okay with getting some of the blame. But, guys, 9 drops is atrocious. It's atrocious. Come on, man. Pooh Bear said backstage to me, this is the first road SEC game for this staff and this young team. True. This is also true, and probably his biggest statement. Penalties, drops, and even execution can be fixed. Agreed. But look, man, this is your first time, and this is Brian Kelly's first time outside of the state with this team. John says that the Auburn game is always close. Guys, the best team in LSU's history beat Auburn by 3. And really and truthfully, a middle of the pack. Now, that defense was great, but really and truthfully, a middle of the pack Auburn team. God, should we have expected any less, Pooh? Blake Doucette says, hashtag Ask Blake, the same ones hating on Daniels and his running would be the same ones cheering if he ran in the winning TD against Bama. Oh, absolutely. Guys, him running the football. Let me just say this. Now, a lot of you are going to get pissed off by this statement. Do you know who Jalen Milroe is now? If you watch my show religiously, you know who Jalen Milroe is, the backup quarterback at Alabama. What does he do really well? So spare me with, you can't win with a running quarterback. Bullshit. And Jaden really isn't that type of guy. I still think he wants to throw the football first. Just my opinion. Stop it. So Jaden can win you games. Now, we'll talk a lot this week. We got to see what's wrong with Jaden. We got to see if he can go against Tennessee. That's for a Monday midday conversation with Brian Kelly. And I don't even know what he said tonight. I mean, I can look and see. Maybe somebody reported what's wrong with Jaden. I don't. I'm trying to look for it. I don't see anything from anybody on an update from what did Brian Kelly, if y'all can find that for me, did Brian Kelly say anything about Jaden in the post-game press conference? Steven says, I wouldn't target his dropsy ass either. If you're talking about Kayshawn, then yeah. Daniel says, Jaden can run the ball, no doubt, but bruh, he will not last the entire season. Well, Daniel, you don't know that. If he doesn't improve the passing game, Daniel, you don't know that. I mean, it's crazy to me that some of you are screaming for nuts when it's like, hey, throw me the ball. And that bitch is all the way over here. Stop. Pooh Bear says 1998. I've been telling y'all all week. He's not wrong. He has been telling y'all all week. He's not wrong. Justin Freer asked, I think LSU will be ranked next week? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think LSU is going to be ranked next week. They might be 25th. But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy to me? Guys, look at Oklahoma. And I'm not trying to look at other teams around college football to justify LSU barely winning a game against Auburn. Guys, Oklahoma got absolutely clapped against their first-year coach in Brent Venables. What's that score with Dabo, Pooh? I mean, everybody trying to tell me all last week that Dabo was overrated. Guys, again, I'm just lucky. I got to be honest. I'm lucky to get out of this game with a W. As sloppy as a lot of these games have been, and let's call it what it is. Guys, there's a lot of sloppy games. LSU separates himself a little bit in the SEC West from some teams. Arkansas is 0-2. You got Texas A&M that's 1-1. Mississippi State that's 1-1. You're still, guys, it's LSU and Alabama 2-0 in the West. You have a massive game next weekend against Tennessee. There you go. 1 minute. So Clemson has beaten NC State, which Pooh Bear, by the way, I did bet $150 on Clemson on the money line. It's my only bet of the week. I'll take the 1-0. I think I said that this morning too. I trust Dabo in crunch situations. You can hate me for it, or or whatever you want to, but as sloppy as these games are, guys, you got to just be okay with it. Oh, is this on Pooh Bear? Thumbs up. This is on Jaden. All right, I'm going to bring you up. All right, so what did he say? Knee-to-knee contact and his knee locked up.
Yeah, they reported that during the game, closer to the end. I haven't seen if Brian Kelly reported anything different, but they didn't say when it happened. They didn't say if he was scrambling or if he was in the pocket.
It looked like that slide. Remember the slide?
Yeah,
it looked goofy. Man, let me tell you this, Pooh. This is why I think that you can tell that he's having difficulties with indecisions. Okay, because my point would be this: he didn't even know if he should have slid or not. And that's why his leg got caught up. So it does make me question, hey, Jaden, do you have stop thinking and just play? You know what I mean? Like that's
I hate the win. I hate the way it looked. I love the win. I hate the way it looked. First road game in the SEC, new coaching staff. You can see it all over the field. Penalties, the drops. It was
sloppy.
Yeah, it was ugly.
It was sloppy without the Joe.
Yeah, they literally said that this morning on SEC Now. They were doing like the one word, and they mentioned LSU first road game in Auburn. They asked Takeo Spikes not Takeo Spikes. I think it was Takeo Spikes.
Yeah, he's with Believe. He's on the game SEC crew. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they asked, what are you, one word for this game? And he said unpretty.
That I did hear him say that. And he's been saying that all week on Believe too. Look, he said the only way they win it is if it's ugly. And look, it was. All right, let's do this. Mark says knee too, Pooh. So there you go. Danny girl, says I'm sick of this BS. I don't care who the QB is. Poor QB is the same regardless of who it is. Well, she's right with that. She says I don't care if the QB runs, passes, or crawls us to a win. We have to be able to be honest. Yeah. Ryan says hashtag Ask Blake, has BK given up on 7, meaning Kayshon Boutte. With this, what the hell is going on with him? Guys, I have no idea. Look, I'm not, I would tell you if I knew, I've been known to say things and sourcing that we know. I have no idea what's going on with Jaden and what's going on with Boutte. And really and truthfully, guys, when you get him in the mix of the game, you can't drop the ball. Right? Like, you got to be focused. Love on YouTube says Jaden tries to play a perfect game. That is very true. That is very true. And it causes him to be indecisive. And thank you for the $4.99 super chat. That is just the God's honest, holistic truth. Look, I love him for not turning the ball over, and that's a massive stat that he has on this game. But you know what? There are times that I would be okay with a pick if you're still constantly forcing the ball down the field and it's working more times than it isn't. I don't know what they have to do there. Daniel's not talking about – y'all are talking about, well, I said that we don't know if he's going to be – Daniel's talking about him being hurt now for the rest of the season. Him missing right now is not it. He got hurt on a slide. Now, come on. See, and most of all of your points on here, everybody's comments has something to say about Jaden. We're not talking about the offensive line. Look, I'll bring this up. Okay, Pooh, can we go to the individual stats? All right, stop it right here. Guys, 8 of 20 with 10 of 26 with 9 drops, and every comment in this show is about Jaden, and I do understand it. Now, let's go down a little bit, Pooh. Again, this is what won you the game. Him running the ball for 16 times. Now, him having control for 36 times maybe isn't always the best, but Josh Williams, 17 carries, 68 yards. John Emery, 8 carries, 52 yards. The only problem, and I think your offensive line is playing really good, honestly. But and it's not, guys, we just saw, it's not just an issue with Jaden and these receivers. It's with multiple quarterbacks. They got to fix it. Elwin Myers says, what's the deal with being ranked? Just play ball. Yeah, they just asked, man. They just asked. It's okay to ask. It's okay to ask. Sip says, y'all got to remember Kayshawn was taking slants for 60. The offense was different. Did this injury slow him down? Should be the question, to be honest. That's a good question. But Jaden can't. Oh, shit. Georgia Tech. And they got a new coach this week. See, that's why I'm glad Harsin didn't get fired last week against Missouri. Okay. Because if he would have gotten fired, shit like this happens. Georgia Tech beating Pitt can't happen. Jason Morgan says $4.99 via Super Chat. He says 8 of 20 for 80 yards isn't going to cut it. Missed Taylor on an easy slant. I'll give you that one. Early on the first down and has missed a lot of open receivers in previous games. That is a true statement. That is a true statement. Okay. However, guys, you can't drop the football. And look, I'm not mincing words like you guys thinking I'm sticking up for him. He's got to get better. But there's also other factors here. Like, and I told everybody this last week. Winning covers a multitude of sins. The pass that Jaden Daniels threw, the dig route, and then Malik Neighbors ran the corner, and it's an option route. And Jaden reads the right coverage. Malik does not, and you miss a wide open touchdown. Something we don't talk about during the week because you'll get mad at it. You'll get mad at me for talking about it. You got to have those plays. You got to find a way to get the ball down the field. Now, Robbie Ashford, let's see. Pooh, can we look at Auburn right quick? We might have to zoom out here. Or no, maybe we don't. Here's another thing. Guys, Robbie Ashford, 19 of 38, 337 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And really the pick was just a play that Greg Brooks made. Nothing that he did wrong. Now, the Coy Moore play, if I'm an Auburn fan, I got to be honest. That Coy Moore play on the interception, I'm livid at. I'm livid. Because he's trying to throw it away, and Harold Perkins does what Harold Perkins does and comes down with a pick. But look, here's another thing. Tank Bigsby, 12 carries, 45 yards. Jaquez Hunter, 6 carries, 35 yards. Relatively, you had a pretty good containment to some extent on the running game. Robbie Ashford, 11 carries, 19 yards. So you were able to contain him some there. But you weren't able to contain him in the passing game. But, I was thinking this too. LSU kept Auburn in the game last year and ultimately lost it. Auburn let LSU stay around, and they ultimately lost it. Guys, 10 minutes left to go in the second quarter, and LSU doesn't give up another point. That's a long time. That's 10, so 25, and 5 is 30. So what's that, 45 minutes, 40 minutes? 40 minutes of not giving up, anything. Pooh Bear quotes, I'm the best QB in that room, Coy Moore. No, he ain't. Family Man 617 sends $5 via Super Chat. He says it's going to be ugly at different points in the season. In a rebuilding year, we're 4-1, 2-0 in the West. Team just has to continue to grow each week. Exactly. Now, look, you have tough games against Alabama. I think Arkansas is still really good. I know that they're 0-2 in the league. Oh, dude, Ole Miss kind of shocked me today, and the way that they're able to continue to run the football. I mean, and I know I said earlier it was Alabama and it was LSU, but Ole Miss is right there at 2-0 in the conference too. God forbid you got Florida too. Golly, it's gonna be a long season, man. You better buckle in. We got a long season still to go. Adam Keene says, besides a few blown coverages or few blown plays, this defense looked good. Yes, second quarter they locked in, man. Now the only thing is, it looks completely different. Like what was Auburn on fourth down, Pooh? 1 of 2. I think they were 1 of 2 on fourth down. Some of those plays, Auburn's got to kick the field goal. Auburn's got to kick the field goal. And guys, if they kick the field goal in some of those situations, you're not going to win that football game. LSU got a break that when John Emery fumbled the football, you got another break. John's got to find a way to hold on to the football too. But 4 turnovers is a massive deal. Anytime you generate turnovers, you're going to win football games. You had a couple of picks. You had a muff punt. You had a fumble that was a scoop and score. Guys, LSU's offense only scored you 14 points. And you won. This defense isn't bad at all. They're a really, really good football team. I mean, really, really good defense. Because I will take you holding any team to 17 points any day of the week. Hale Mendoza on YouTube says, as long as I see a W in that Florida game, I'm good. Well, now you're only 3 wins away from having a better season than you did a season ago. You're over halfway there. You get 4 more wins, 5 more wins, you're staring a New Year's 6 bowl in the face. Where those wins are going to come from, I think LSU can beat Arkansas. I think LSU can beat A&M. That's 6. I think LSU can beat Florida. Who's another game? You play UAB. There's wins on this, and you know there's wins LSU can come out with. Tough game next week though. Ole Miss, shit. Hey, Ole Miss found a defense. I'm gonna. Hey, I'm gonna leave that one be for a minute. I'm gonna leave that one be. But let me say this too. Doesn't look like Jeff Lebby was running all the offense in Oxford last year, does it? Oh, Danny Girl says the reason everyone always puts it on Jaden is because he's the leader on the field. He sets the tone, and tonight the tone was bad. Honestly, Danny, and this isn't on you. It's honestly a lazy take. God, Georgia, that quickly. That's ball game. They're up by 11. That's ball game. So Georgia Tech looks like they're going to beat Pitt. You know, Danny, I just think it's a lazy take from some. Yeah. Mark on YouTube says, don't forget 39 scholarship players in the bowl game. Yeah, but you got some of those back too. But yeah. Brandon Ruiz says the deep zones with no pressure. This was a problem later in the game. LSU had troubles generating a pass rush. The deep zones with no pressure, third and long, absolutely killing us, and it needs to stop. That has a lot of truth to it. Guys, that has a lot of truth to it. Zach Payne on Facebook says, what are your thoughts on Denbrock this far? Well, I'm going to turn this on everybody. What are y'all's thoughts on Mike Denbrock? What are your thoughts on LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock? Because let me tell you what mine are. You can't have guys running wide open and telling Jaden to hit guys that are open and say that Mike Denbrock's calling bad games. So let me reemphasize that again. If Mike Denbrock is calling very bad games, why are dudes running wide open? That's a lot of your argument, right? Jane Daniels is a horrible passer. He can't do this. He can't do that. That's a lot of the argument here tonight. Well, if that's the case and dudes are wide open, then what? So if you're going to put it on Denbrock, that's fine. But then you're saying that he's holding back Jane Daniels to some extent if he's calling bad plays. It's what you're saying, and that's not the truth. Mike Denbrock is not holding Jane Daniels back at all. Sometimes this comes down to execution and consistent play. Guys, that third down drop by John Emery, guys, you're up 21-17 at your own 30-yard line. Then you get another penalty. AJ says Mike Denbrock is Steve Ensminger. Shit. Steve Ensminger would throw that bitch 75,000 times a game. This is the truth. Orgeron had to tell Slinger to slow it down throwing the football a lot of times. That's the truth. Pac-12 After Dark, getting a little interesting. Brad Wentz says self-inflicted wounds in the first 5-6 drives, not Mike Denbrock at all. Yeah, I don't think it's, I don't blame Denbrock for a lot of this. I think he's calling good games. I think that his players aren't executing. It's also his job, though, however, to get those dudes to execute. Right? So if they're having execution problems, it's his job to get them in a situation where they can't execute. So it's twofold. And I mentioned this, and this is not a knock on Brian Thomas. It's just what comes to my head the most. Okay? If it's Jane Daniels Okay, fine. So then let's take Jane Daniels out of the equation. Now, you can make the argument that Nussmeier was thrown into a very bad spot. He was. You're coming in late in the third quarter or fourth quarter. You've been cold all game. You're not getting any reps. You're not really warmed up. But Nussmeier throws a pass that would have been a first down to Brian Thomas Jr. It gets dropped, guys. That has nothing to do with offensive philosophy or scheme. That has nothing to do with philosophy or scheme. If it does have something to do with scheme and you want to make that argument, then the scheme was good and the execution was horrible. The pass was low. Brian Thomas had to go down to try to get it, but when it hits you in your hands around your knees, you got to come up with it. Then next series after that, you would go a play action bootleg and get Kayshon Boutte for 8 yards, and he would drop it along the sidelines. That's not on Mike Denbrock. I'll tell you this, though. These penalties, I'm not going to even touch on I'm not even going to touch on the penalties. He says, okay, what about the other passes? Come on, man. Daniel, then talk about it on your show. And please articulate. And if you want to have the argument, I will eat you alive. Pause. What passes? 9 fucking drop passes, Daniel. What passes? Here's what I'm going to suggest everybody to do. You get a little black book, you open that bitch, and you write it down. You write down the entire game. And what you do on your first page is you go drops, you go penalties, false starts, you go execution plays and big plays, and you mark a tally next to all of them. I have 9 drops right here. What passes? You talk about Nussmeier. What happened to him? He's 2 for 6. Guys, he's 33%. What changed? Did the offensive scheme change? No. B sends 499 on YouTube. Let's be honest. JD was pulled because no, he wasn't because he couldn't run with that. Oh, because he couldn't run with the ankle. Probably. If he can't run, he is useless. I'm not going to go there. To the offense, Nuss is a QB. JD is a scrambler only. Thanks for the 499 super chat. Ray. Oh my God. R on YouTube says it has everything to do with consistent execution. Mark Allen, balls behind receivers. Catch it. If it hits your hands, catch it. Hey, let me ask you this question. Would Chase have come down with it? Then Kayshon should. There are some things you're right about. There are some things that you're right about. He's got to get better at. But guys, he is not, Pooh Bear, my bad. He is not all to blame for 8 of 20. Pooh Bear, can we scroll down a little bit? 16 for 59 yards, a tutty. Guys, it's sloppy. I would love to know what Stequavius Bennett went tonight. Would love to know. How Bryce Young do? Oh, wait, Bryce Young got knocked out the game. Alabama scored 21 unanswered points on Arkansas with a quarterback who did not throw the ball hardly at all. Your argument is flawed. You can't win games if your quarterback's running the football. Tell that to Lamar Jackson. Jaden is not Lamar Jackson. He's not. But guys, just because he runs the football doesn't mean shit. Richie Roche says, you play Nuss all year. We are sitting at have 2 more losses. Y'all want that man so bad, and he threw 2 picks against Southern. Guys, where were y'all at the Southern game? Where were y'all against Southern? Auburn is better than Southern. Robert says, come on, Blake, we have to go with Nuss. Daniels is scared. Then go with him. Y'all make that argument. Go with him. Y'all want it? Have it. You're wrong? Have it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Pooh Bear says he's got Stetson's stats. 24 of 43, 312 yards. They must, Pooh, I haven't seen anything on this game, but seeing that they have 312 passing yards and 169 rushing yards, they must have turned the ball over at least 3 times. Can we go down? Can we look how many times did they turn the ball over? 2. Sometimes, man, you just got to win games, bro. This is a funny comment. Let me find it. Hold on. Damn it, I missed it. Somebody said, now we know what it feels like to be Texas A&M fans. It's true. It's true. Guys, they threw the ball. Max Johnson was 3 for 5 at halftime. Denley says, Blake, we all know why they're saying that about JD5. Don't argue with them clowns. Well, I give everybody a platform on this, at least try to give people a platform on this show. You know what's crazy, man? Y'all talk about all these other dudes in the media. I'm the only one reading your fucking comments. Denley also says JD5 has thrown over 120 or so passes with 0 interceptions. Well, it's much more than that tonight. He was sitting at 117. So he had 20 passes tonight. It'd be 137. Yes, I agree with this. This fan base is spoiled on Joe Burrow. Grow up, fan base. You're not getting that caliber of quarterback every QB that comes through LSU. You're not. You're not this year, at least. You might have one. He wears number 14. If there's anybody that I would be okay with him going with and losing games would be Walker Howard. Because that dude is special. Can we get off the Jane talk? Hey, guys, can we get off the Jane talk or no? Y'all still want to hop on that? Y'all still want to hop on that? Brandy Blake says, Matt Corral led Ole Miss to the first 10 wins as a running quarterback, so don't say anything about running quarterbacks. Don't win games. Y'all leave Daniels alone. She got y'all's ass there. Can we move on? Can we move on from please? Because we'll go another 30, 45 minutes. Let's talk defense. Okay, so let's talk defense. The first half, guys, was very we just struggled. Okay, let me get to this first. Week 5. All right, Sevyn Banks goes out. God bless him. God bless that young man. Here's the thing. You hold him to a 3-and-out to start the game. You get the ball, then you go 3-and-out. Then you can't stop Robbie Ashford. You legitimately can't. Bigsby drops a wide open pass. Then he has a gain of 15, First down on third down. Ashford misses a fourth down. You get the ball back. You can't score. So that was a good job by the defense. Mike Jones Jr., who, guys, is a little banged up. Let me just say it like that. Okay. Mike Jones Jr. had a tackle for loss, still a little banged up. But Auburn would go have a 20-yard pass on first down. They would fumble. Then they have a massive 61-yard play bust for Sage Ryan on the touchdown. But after the 17 points, guys, they played flawlessly. Okay. Bigsby screen. Jay Ward is held. It is a no call. He still makes a tackle. You get a third down, massive stop by Tank in the backfield. 3rd and 9. Gardner, bro. First off, do y'all remember the Mekhi Garner or is it Mekhi? I think it's Mekhi. Mekhi Garner when he absolutely stacked Tank Bigsby along the sidelines. Y'all remember the massive hit? They made adjustments and they played at a high level. The one thing that I'm so surprised about, now Joe Fouché started the game, but Joe Fouché got pulled for Greg Brooks, and then they would rotate Jarek Bernard-Converse back at safety. I think that's look, Joe Fouché's first game, I'll give him a mulligan. But you cannot take number 3 Brooks off the field. Guys, that interception will live in infamy. And the best thing about this is, Pooh, it came against Coy Moore. That's the best part about it. Now, Coy did some things now. Let me go to this. Pooh, can we scroll down? Oh, no, there he is. 4 catches, 55 yards. Here's the thing, though. He had a massive – so that was a 61-yard bust that I said just a second ago. This one that Sage Ryan had for the tutty. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Coy Moore, 4 catches, 55 yards. 31 of that, guys, came on one massive play. Okay. But they had all of these chunk plays. Jay Johnson, 3 catches, 74 yards. Jaquez Hunter, 2 catches, 70 yards. That's really all that Auburn had offensively. That's all that Auburn had offensively. Now, you could make the argument, and this is me being petty as hell, I can make the argument that of all the receivers on LSU and former receivers that played in this game today, Coy Moore might have been the best one. Now, he had a quarterback that consistently got him the ball, and they put, obviously, Coy Moore in the game plan. That's a whole different subject. But you have that. Then you would turn around late in the second half. You would do a double pass, or Auburn would do a double pass with Coy Moore. And, dude, look, here's something that we haven't talked about a lot tonight. Why Harold Perkins is coming off the field and they're inserting Wes Weeks is beyond me. Is beyond me. I don't know why they're taking 23 and 40 off the field. Now, I will say this, and I will let it be in due time. I know that they want to play Mike Jones in a certain situation. Guys, I think he'll be back to 100% within the next week or 2 weeks. I will leave that there. The thing, though, is you got to start number 40 with – you got to. Now, that Greg Brooks play, and I see a lot of people talking about it, that Greg Brooks play reminded me of – I hate to say it like this. It reminded me of the Badger. Now, Perkins is the next great. He's just the next great. The interception, remember the pressure late in the game that Auburn would have to punt the football. I mean, guys, he's all over the place. Now, Pooh, I don't know. ESPN normally doesn't give the defensive stats this early. Yeah, there they are. How many tackles did Harold Perkins have? 3. Okay, let's scroll up. Look at Jay Roy with a massive game leading the team in tackles. Now, I'll give Jay Roy this. He had a massive game. He spied Robbie Ashford a lot. Greg Penn III, 2 tackles for loss. Massive. Massive. But look at the guys. Look at this. I don't know if I can how I can show, but look at QBHUR, which is QB hurries. Go down to Harold Perkins. He's got 2 of them. You have Greg Penn that has another one. Where's BJ Ojolari at? There he is. Okay. So 4 total tackles, 2 sacks. Is that what I'm reading? Yeah, 2 sacks from BJ Ojolari. Now, how many did Auburn have? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3, 4. Yeah, 3 sacks. So, look, I thought that this defense just played well. Guys, as you can see on the final, look at the final on the top of the screen. Middle top of the screen and go down. LSU was down 17-0. They rallied back. And from 10 minutes on, look at the third. 0, 4th, 0. That won you the football game. Robert the Fifth says, where's Ali Gay? Good question. That's a good question. I mean, really, man. Really, guys, he's a role player at this point. I hate to say it like that. I mean, he's a starter, but he's a role player. Man, look at my hair, Pooh. God damn it, boy. I look like an Italian mafia member, boy. And that's with a hat on. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. They call me Blake Gotti in this hoe. Anyway, sorry. Blake Gotti. David says a win is still a win. That's big in the SEC. People need to shut the hell up. Down 17, that's called perseverance. Yeah, but man, David, you're right. I just hate those slow starts. Denley says, Blake, if this fan base continues to act the way that they do, we will start to lose on great recruits. No, I don't. Fans are going to be fans. If a kid makes a decision based off of what some stupid, ignorant asshole says in the fan base, myself included, if I say something stupid, then it's for the wrong reason. I've gotten obliterated by people on Twitter and in these comments. We're still chugging along. You can't worry about that. Cody Wirt, I don't know, Lou Basie, Bassey says Cody Worsham reported that Brian Kelly said LSU called robber coverage and Greg Brooks' pick, and that Matt House told Kelly Brooks would steal this one. That's a lot of foresight right there. Even though Cody Worsham unfollowed us on Twitter. Mike Collins says down 17. And bro, follow us back on Twitter. It's petty ass high school shit. Mike Collins says down 17 points is the largest comeback win for LSU in 25 seasons. Is that true? Is that true? Wow. I didn't know that. Hey. Eric Johnson says, is it me or those Perkins move like Devin White? The speed is sick. Look, I get everybody comparing him to Devin White. He's not as big as Devin White, pause. And I'm not talking about like Antonio Brown. That's not the kind of reference I'm trying to get at here. Which, by the way, who wants to there's some people in this chat that need to go play Marco Polo with Antonio Brown. You'll get something close. You'll get something in your face. That's for damn sure. But Harold Perkins and Devin White aren't a good comp for one another, in my opinion. They're too different. Ryan Thibodeau says, you dirty rat. Now, Ryan, we're probably going to go in these Twitter spaces after this show, and I know you don't want to be talking shit. Now, it takes you 682 years to say something, but nevertheless, God damn it. This gummy's kicking in, Pooh. That's why I'm talking shit. Gummy's kicking in. Blake Doucette said Georgia struggled against Missouri. I'll take this win on the road to the team that gives us a challenge every year. That they do, man. It seems like either team could be absolutely ass cheeks, and this game is going to come close. I don't agree with this statement. Our O-line is ass water. No, they're not. Pooh, can we scroll up to the offensive rushing yards? This is why I know our offensive line is not ass water. 49 rushes, 185 yards. 3 of those rushes, obviously from Jaden Daniels, were sack yardage. So I would love to know what his net rush yardage is. I would say it's probably at least 13 rushes for 65 yards, which, guys, is over 5 yards per carry. So you have 68 yards for Josh Williams, 42 yards for John Emery, probably 65 net rushing yards at minimum for Jaden Daniels and Noah Cain. 5 carries, 21 yards. They're not ass water. And I will tell you this, Emory Jones continues to make a name for himself. Now, listen, he got beat a couple of times against a guy that would more than likely be a day 2 pass rusher. Monday, I told you this. Tuesday, I told you this. Wednesday, I didn't go to a show because my dad had heart surgery. Thursday, I told you this. And this morning, I told you this. They got dudes on that defensive line that can get after the passer. That's just the bottom fucking line. And for most of the game, Will Campbell and Emory Jones held their own. Miles Frazier got beat a couple of times. First off, we got to figure something out with we got to find something out with Charles Turner. If he's going to have somebody playing up head up against him, we have issues. Okay, but I thought that they held their own. Guys, you can't say that Jane Daniels is holding on to the ball too long and then make the statement that our O-line's ass. Guys, there's only a finite amount of time that your offensive line can hold somebody off. You know, it's so crazy because you guys try to pick your poison and you make a statement and then you make another statement that completely contradicts itself. Completely contradicts itself. Mark Allen says, glad we're at home, though. If you're talking about Tennessee, me too. Mario Collada says, at Blake, is SEC Nation coming to Baton Rouge? Well, if game day's not coming, then I would certainly think so. But A&M, guys, A&M got beat the fuck up by A&M. I mean, Miss State beat the hell out of A&M. Excuse me. I twisted it up. Yeah, this is right. I didn't think that stat was right from earlier. LSU was down 20-0 against Auburn, and that, what was it, 17 season when DJ Chark returned that hoe? Pooh Bear, is that right? Am I tripping? Yeah, that's right. That might be the biggest come from behind win. John says, oh my joy, John, log off. Antonio Brown equals a horse.
You need to leave.
Yeah, you do need to leave. Pooh, that's bad. That's bad. Aunt Marshall, man, I've been seeing I've been seeing Ant here, and I hadn't got to his comments. He probably thinks I hate him. He says Emory Jones scores on the scramble. USC up 21-17 on Arizona State. Yeah. Yeah. Did I man, are y'all laughing at this Antonio Brown being a horse thing? Is that what y'all laughing at? Bro, I'm staying way the hell away from that one. Bro, what goes through a human being's mind I think my man's got CTE. Pooh Bear, you think that man's got CTE? Uh-oh. I think that man's got CTE. That man's just whipping his dick out everywhere, flopping it out. Somebody said he had a sex video with Tiana Trump. I saw in the comments. Like, Jesus Christ. Richie says, this chat will be lit if JD can't go next week and Nuss plays. Oh, shit. And God forbid we get beat. Oh, Pooh Bear says, no, I know that he does have CTE. There you go. Don't yawn around him. Don't yawn. Don't open. Your mouth better not be open around Antonio Brown. He gonna slip that thing. He gonna slip you something like Jeffrey Dahmer, bro. He gonna slip something in your drink, right? Just like Jeffrey Dahmer. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. Come on, Pooh. It's the truth. Jeffrey Dahmer was slipping people's stuff in the drinks. Antonio Brown was slipping something in there too. Oh my God. The Browns. I heard the Browns called AB for a tryout after the video came out. Oh my word. Oh my word. All right. That is the show. All right, let's get Pooh Bear up here. Pooh Bear, you got anything to add?
Antonio Brown and Brett Favre make a hell of a combination in prison on the prison football team.
It's true. It's true. Bro, you know they're still playing Brett Favre Wrangler commercials.
So I was talking about it before. I was listening to Sirius XM radio and they were talking about the Brett Favre scandal. Then a commercial came up for Brett Favre's Sirius XM channel that he has. But yeah.
What a wild world we live in.
Yeah. I guess but yeah.
Big game next week. Big game next week.
Huge game. Huge game.
In Death Valley. Man, I don't know how to feel about this one.
I'm nervous. I was nervous about tonight. Tennessee games is major bubble guts.
Oh, because look, man, you can't have these blown coverages against them. They're gonna find openings. And the bottom line is here to me, Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get anything going offensively, you can't outscore them.
If you have a slow start, you're down 17.
Pooh, I'll say this. I think they scored 24 on us easy.
Yeah. So we're gonna have on our show on Thursday, we're gonna have Alan Bell. He's from the early edge. He's a big Tennessee fan, but he always tells about stats about Tennessee. In the last 2 years, Tennessee is the highest scoring team in the first quarter.
It's not close. Pooh,
and it's not close.
Yeah, they're averaging, I want to say, like 9 to 10 points more than any other team in the country. That's massive when you're a team that struggles to start off the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
they got another week to get healthy. And Hendon Hooker, I will say this. Remember, I said this. Hendon Hooker's due to have a couple of picks.
He is.
Now, here's another thing. Everybody talking about Will Levis, by the way, from Kentucky.
Right.
And don't talk about Hendon Hooker is a damn shame. It's a shame. Let's call it what it is.
I didn't see. So Will Levis is good.
He has no offensive production around.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see all of the hype that everyone sees.
He's got a bazooka. He threw one today for I'll just say it. He threw one 69 yards in the air today on not even a crow hop. Like he rifled that bitch. And I'm not talking about like he took a crow hop and just lobbed it. I'm talking about that bitch was on a missile. You hear me? Yeah. He's got an arm. Wow. But man, everything seems to fall around him. Yeah. It kind of seems like I'm watching Josh Allen play at Kentucky from Wyoming. It's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if he's going to be as good as him, but
Right. I mean, I'll say Kentucky and Ole Miss both shocked me today. I will say that
Ole Miss can run on anybody.
Yeah, and I was expecting Zach Evans. He wasn't there, and they had the Judkins. Wow.
Well, Brad Logan, who covers Ole Miss for 247, came on the morning show and said that he had a hip pointer, and he told Lane Kiffin, "You're gonna have to like arrest me to keep me out of the game." Look, you got to have dogs like that, dude.
Right.
I do question if we got some dogs like that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hey, dog, they ain't a damn thing you can do to stop me.
Yeah. Hey, I missed my pedicure. I don't think I can go tonight, Coach.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though, man. My toes is raunchy, dude. I mean,
yeah, I'm still I still got my lucky LSU socks on from oh God, David. I still got my lucky LSU socks on from the game this morning, flag football game. Yeah, I'm not. There, it's some dogs calling.
Oh, your puppy's just howling. I know this.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all again on Monday. Pooh Bear and Them show is on 7:30 on tomorrow, correct?
7:30 tomorrow.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all Monday. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.